I'm meteorologist Caitlin McGrath. Our weather impact alert continues as the cleanup continues and as the Arctic air sticks around. That's really what this alert is for. From now through Friday, we have just bitter cold, potentially dangerously cold temperatures that are staying gripped across our region. We're talking low temperatures anywhere from 10 below to 8 degrees. High temperatures only in the teens and 20s. So this is the type of cold that not only do you have to be careful of if you're going outside, but take care of your home as well. Open your cabinets for any faucets that face the outside of your home. Trickle the faucet overnight. Limit your time spent outdoors and be sure to dress in layers. You really do need to dress for this cold because it can be dangerous. We have cold weather advisories in effect across most of the area starting tonight at 7 o'clock, lasting through Tuesday morning for wind chill values that will fall below 5 to 18 degrees below zero. That is what it will feel like. We have extreme cold warnings out into the mountains as well, where it's going to be even colder. So for today, we're going to see high temperatures technically make it into the 20s, but feels like temperatures never get warmer than the mid-teens. And then once the sun goes down tonight, already feels like 10 degrees by 6 o'clock as you're checking in with Topper later this evening at 11. Actual temperatures will be falling through the teens. Feels like temperatures will be in the single digits. And by the time you wake up tomorrow, these are our actual Tuesday morning temperatures, single digits across the map. 0 degrees in Hagerstown. That is the actual temperature, not the feels like temperature. 4 degrees in Leesburg, 9 in DC, 3 in spots like Manassas and Culpeper. And whenever you factor in the feels like temperatures, it will be sub-zero. And throughout the day tomorrow, temperatures will be similar to today, and we will see some more nice sunshine. If you haven't been outside today, take a look outside. It's beautiful, but that can also be a concern in and of its own because what we're going to see is a little bit of melting on that top layer of snow and sleet. I know it is still bitter cold, but the sun is strong. It will lead to a little bit of melting, and then once the sun goes down, that will refreeze and be a sheet of ice on top of the snow and sleet. So we're going to have a prolonged ice threat here over the next several days. Tomorrow will be a carbon copy of just that. So let's give you a closer look at some of those feels like temperatures because this is where it can get really dangerous. This is tomorrow morning. Everyone feeling sub-zero, as cold as 18, 19 below zero for Tuesday morning. I think a lot of kids will be out of school once again, so hopefully the bus stop is not a concern. But if your kids are going back to school for some reason, that's what they need to dress for Tuesday morning. By lunchtime throughout the afternoon, feeling like the single digits and low teens, and by Tuesday night, back down into the sub-zero territory for feels like temperatures into Wednesday morning. And this trend really continues through the next week, and it gets colder as we head toward the end of the week. High temperatures Thursday and Friday only in the teens. That's not even factoring in our low temperatures, which could fall below zero for the actual temperature. Now, as we head into next weekend, temperatures still only in the 20s, but early into February, there is some signaling of a warming trend, though it is certainly relative, still below average, but we could climb above freezing for the first time in a long time by early next week. Now, how rare is cold like this? We're likely looking at a 10-11 day stretch where temperatures never make it above the freezing mark. The last time we had a 10-day stretch like that, 1989. If we make it to 11 days, that will be the first time we've had 11 consecutive days with temperatures below 32 degrees since 1935. This type of cold is really rare and needs to be taken seriously. So things you already know, but worth reminding. Make sure you limit time outside. Cover your exposed skin. That's what those feels like temperatures are in reference to what it feels like to bare skin. So hats, gloves, and scarves will go a long way over the next several days. Make sure you dress in layers. And of course, check on loved ones, checks on neighbors, and of course, bring in your pets. This is just too cold for pets to be outside. Now, I know we just got past our last winter storm, but we're already looking ahead to the weekend and another potential storm. There has been some increased signaling that we could see another coastal storm develop as we head into the weekend. The American model still does keep it off to our south and east. Now, over the last several model runs, I will mention, it has nudged a little farther to the north and west, so certainly warrants watching. Now, if that came to fruition, no snow for us. The European model brings us a pretty big coastal storm as we head into Saturday and Sunday. So this is just your early heads up that it warrants watching. But, right now we're going to cross our fingers that we don't pile on any significant snow on top of what is already out there. So as we head through the 7-day forecast, lots of sunshine this week. It's going to look beautiful, but it is going to feel brutal. And then we'll keep an eye on the potential for that storm as we head into the weekend.
I'm trying to walk down the sidewalk. As you can see, it's hard to see the sidewalk. And even when you try to shovel the snow on the sidewalk, that is just hard ice down here, right? So I was checking in on some of the neighbors. Some people, it looks like they've had to dig out. They've even gotten stuck, even at this hour. But this is Mark Davis. And so tell me a little bit about your experience here. What are you doing out here, and how have you been doing with this snow?
Well, I thought maybe I could, leave the snow packed underneath and the ice on top. It'd be easier to get off, but it's not working. I can't even get the shovel into the ice.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the answer is.
Same experience here. In fact, some places when I'm standing, I'm as high as like the tires on the cars out here, especially when the plows come through here. You can see, though, this is Sudley Manor, that this street here, this road, I should say, that has seen the plows pass through here. But when you turn onto the side road, it's when you're going to have a hard time. Now, is this the most snow that you've seen in a really long time, or compared to some of those other bigger snows? Because you were born in D.C., right? And then you lived
in D.C. and lived in Manassas since the early or mid 60s, and I guess the worst was Snowmageddon.
Okay.
And
96. What was
96, and the snowplows were getting stuck in my townhouse neighborhood, and that was the worst I've ever seen.
Okay, you've actually seen some plows have issues over here. That was 2016, though, right? But so far, good for your neighborhood.
The main roads here, they came down 4 in a row each time they'd come down. Mm-hmm. So they got the main road pretty good.
All right, so I got to ask you, besides me trying to help you, how are you going to get through all of this?
I don't know. I've thought about hot water, but that would just freeze right away. And so maybe I need a harder shovel.
Okay.
One of the regular shovels or something might dig through it or chop it up.
Looks like you're going to have to wait just a little bit. Okay, so it's going to get colder tonight, single digits as you've heard from our meteorologist. So be careful, do the shoveling that you can for right now. But again, watch it out there if you make it out on the roads. Back to you guys.
All right, Jackie Quinn out there trying to help out with that shoveling that hard ice.
I'm meteorologist Caitlin McGrath, and I want to take a few minutes and talk about some of the winter weather you'll hear making headlines here over the cold winter months, starting with Arctic blasts that come from the polar vortex. So let's start with the basics. What the polar vortex is. It's an area of low pressure and cold air that surrounds it that sits at both the north and the South Pole. When we have a strong polar vortex, we have a really tight jet stream that keeps that cold air trapped in place at the poles. But sometimes the jet stream weakens and that polar vortex, that Arctic air, can sink south. Sometimes it can go as far south in the United States as parts of Texas and the southeast. But most often you'll kind of hear about these Arctic blasts through parts of the Midwest, the Great Plains, and the Northeast. Now you'll also hear us talking about Alberta clippers, and they get their names because oftentimes these weak little winter systems form in Canada, right around the region of Alberta, and they just kind of clip parts of the United States. This is the typical path that they may take as they move through the Great Plains into the Midwest, across parts of the Mid-Atlantic, and into the Northeast. They are fast moving and they oftentimes lack moisture. These are not your big blizzards, they're not big nor'easters, but they typically are enough to bring just a little bit of light snow, and oftentimes what moves in behind a clipper is really cold air and blustery wind. Just two types of weather phenomenon that you'll hear about here as we head through the next several months.